So when we find out our eternal identity, we may also be in relationship with Krishna as a wife or as a child, one of his children in Dwaraka, or in Goloka Vrindavan, a cowherd boy. But now we're in Dwaraka, in this section of Bhagavatam. Krishna's journey, now he's traveling, and everybody from every town that he passes through is very enthusiastic to see him, the Supreme Lord. Imagine if Krishna were traveling to your place, you would want to see him very much. So that's what is being shown here in this last section of 10th chapter of 1st canto. So we did learn a lesson here in this chapter. Does anybody remember what lesson? Oh, our little friend in the back, she's not here today, who knew all the answers to the questions. Yes, so what lesson did we learn? Yes? Krishna will be with us if we speak about him. Very good. That's the lesson we learned in this picture. Okay, now he's in Dwaraka, he's arriving, everybody's in ecstasy, they're having a celebration, having a good time. He blew his conch shell and everybody's running to greet him. They were in separation because he was away for a long time during the Battle of Kurukshetra. Now he's coming back to his hometown and everybody is receiving him very nicely. So I will read verse 9. When you go away, O Lord, lotus-eyed, by a millionfold each moment's magnified, our eyes become useless as if there's no sun when out of Dwaraka you have gone. So this is their prayer. This is their prayer for greeting Krishna, coming back to Dwaraka. So in this second section here, Krishna is reciprocating with his devotees. Balaram, his brother, is there. They're embracing. And he's meeting with his friends. He's offering obeisances to his superiors. And he's meeting, here's all his friends. People are dancing to receive him. They're singing, they're dancing. Elephants are coming. So there's a huge procession, and people are glorifying him as he returns to Dwaraka. Here he reciprocates with his devotees. Part 2, chapter 11. Now he's in Dwaraka. And the first thing he does after he meets the citizens, he goes inside the palace and he meets his mothers. He has 18 mothers. Devaki is his real mother, and all her sisters. They're also married to Vasudeva. And here he's meeting with his mothers. And next, he meets with his queens. First, they send his children to embrace him, and then they meet him also after a long, long separation. He's meeting with his queens and his children. He had 16,108 queens and 16,108 palaces, and each queen had 10 boys and 1 girl. So imagine the meeting that was a joyful meeting with hundreds. Yeah, you can figure out the math, how many altogether. For the teachers, they had 36 million teachers for all the people of, all the children of Dwaraka. So you can imagine how many children were there. They had 36 million. And we talk about overpopulation in our cities. Well, this city had millions of people, so many millions. And it was not overcrowded. Everyone had their proper houses. And so this was Dwaraka. This is Dwaraka. Chapter 11 of Canto 1. Krishna is meeting his mothers and meeting his queens. So now here, chapter 12, part 1, is Yudhisthira's devotional rule. We hear more about Yudhisthira ruling the kingdom and how he's absorbed in the service of the Lord. Although he has so much opulence, more than the demigods, he doesn't care for it. Krishna saves Parikshit, so now the next person to rule will be Parikshit. But in the womb, he's attacked by a Brahmastra sent by Ashvatthama. So Krishna comes into the womb and saves him and protects him. Now here's his birth, Parikshit's birth. All the good signs of the zodiac came. very auspicious signs. All the planets were in auspicious places. And the Brahmanas who were there for his birth, they said, this child will be well known in this world as one who is protected by the Supreme Lord. And he will be a first-class devotee with all good qualities. That is our Parikshit Maharaj here. So I will read verse, this is chapter 12, part 1. Chapter 12, part 2, Parikshit's glorious future. He'll be comparable to Lord Ram in truthfulness. He will be like King Shibi in charity. And he will be strong like a lion and fixed as the Himalaya mountains. So they read all the good qualities that will happen to him. I will read verse 23. His will be Brahma's equanimity of mind. Like Lord Shiva, he'll be munificent and kind. The shelter of everyone, like Lord Narayani. These are predictions which you can rely on. So that's his glorious future. So he will be the heir to the throne after Yudhisthira and the Pandavas. Yudhishthira's horse sacrifice, he did a horse sacrifice to establish that he is the emperor of the whole world. So we go to chapter 13. Now we're starting to hear about renunciation. Vidura comes back. Vidura is the brother of Dhritarashtra and Pandu. And he's coming back home after hearing from Maitreya, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. And here he is, Yudhisthira is questioning him. He's asking, oh, do you remember how you always protected us with our mother from all sorts of calamities? You are just like a holy place personified. You are just like a tirtha. Because you carry the Lord in your heart. So that's Vidura carrying the Lord in his heart. So the last section, Vidura preaches to Dhritarashtra. So Dhritarashtra is an old blind king, and he's not doing anything. He's just eating, sleeping, no more mating, and no more defending. Only eating and sleeping at the palace, not really wasting his life. He should be out. He should leave home. So Vidura preaches to him here, get out of here immediately. Your teeth are loose, your liver is defective. I think I'll read that here in verse 25. Let's see what that says. Part 1. To give up your body you may be unwilling, like a miser protecting a precious shilling. You're clinging to life at all honor's cost, unmindful that soon all will be lost. So here's the lesson. Before death, before the body starts falling apart, one should renounce material life and go out and preach. One should preach before death. Don't wait until you're ready to die to take up spiritual life. So this is the lesson here. Here we see he's not being, of course he's being respected by Yudhisthira, but Bhima is giving him a hard time because of the problems that Bhima had with his sons. And Bhima killed his 100 sons, and he's not ashamed to live in the same house as the killer of his sons. So Vidura is preaching to him to get out right away. So what is the lesson we learn in this picture here? Yes. Don't wait till the end of your life to start spiritual progress. Yeah, even Prahlad Maharaj, he was preaching to his schoolmates who are 5-year-old kids, and he said, don't wait, now is the time to start when you're 5 years old. Yes, but don't wait, it's never too late. Don't worry, don't worry. Okay, so here, chapter 13, part 2, Dhritarashtra leaves home. He listens to Vidura. He and Vidura and his wife Gandhari, they all leave home after hearing. And Yudhishthira wakes up and he sees, oh, where has my uncle gone? And he's crying. And he's thinking, how will he take care of himself? He's old and blind. So Narada Muni comes and he enlightens Yudhishthira and he tells him, don't worry. Don't lament for anyone. Everyone is under the control of the Supreme Lord. So don't worry about anyone. You cannot protect anyone. The Lord is protecting everyone. So the lesson we learn here is Lord Krishna is the only protector of everyone. Yudhishthira was thinking, I am protecting Dhritarashtra. But no, you're not. And then he tells Dhritarashtra's perfection. Narada Muni tells what's going to happen. In the next 5 days, he's going to get perfect in yogic powers, yogic perfection. He's going to burn up his body in a fire, and his wife is going to enter that fire and die with him. And he's going to attain perfection in yogic power. And so don't worry about him. There's nothing you can do. He's already left. He's going to the Himalayas, and he's going to attain yogic perfection there. So what was the lesson we learned from this picture here, chapter? Yes? Krishna is the protector. Yes. What can we do? He's our protector. That is one of the 6 symptoms of surrender, is that Krishna is my only protector. So Yudhishthira was thinking he is the protector, but Krishna is actually the only protector. Okay, chapter 14, Kali's influence. Now Kali has entered the minute that Krishna has left this planet. Arjuna went to Dwarka to see Krishna, to visit, and a few months passed and Arjuna did not come back, and Yudhishthira was observing some inauspicious symptoms. Like the sun was very, very hot, and people were becoming greedy and angry and fighting. So that was unheard of in his kingdom. People were satisfied. So this second part, inauspicious symptoms, here we have the cows are crying, jackals, fire was coming from their mouths. The deities in the temple were crying also. Sometimes we hear the deities' tears are coming. That's inauspicious. It's not auspicious. And the dogs were howling. The owls were howling. There were fires coming out from the earth. I saw this in Hawaii. There's a volcano. And when I visited Hawaii, it was not erupting so much, but you could just see holes. There was a city called Volcano. They're living on the volcano, and it's very cheap to buy a house there. But I wouldn't recommend it, because if you walk there in the street, you see holes in the street where smoke is coming up from the holes in the street, steam. And I think, how could people live here? But yes, they are, and now they are not, because the volcano did erupt much more. So here we see, so this is an inauspicious symptom when the volcanoes erupt. Here we have the fires coming from the road, and that actually happened. Tornadoes, hot sun, the tsunamis, these are all inauspicious symptoms, and Yudhishthira was seeing them. I'll read verse 17 and 18. The rays of the sun planet are all declining, and stars fight together instead of shining. Living entities appear to be ablaze, and they weep and cry in a daze. Rivers and ponds are all perturbed. My mind by events is very disturbed. Butter no longer ignites in fire. What is happening, and by whose desire? So the lesson here is, in the absence of Krishna, everything is inauspicious. And that is a lesson that we hear throughout the first canto. When Kunti was saying her prayers, she was saying, Krishna, if you leave, everything will be inauspicious. So Yudhishthira was saying to Bhima, just see these inauspicious symptoms. I think there is some danger. Actually, what I think is that this earth was very fortunate to have Krishna's lotus feet marking it, but now I think it will no longer be so. So he understood what happened, that Krishna had left the planet, although Arjuna had not yet come back to tell him the news, but Yudhishthira understood what had happened. So what is the lesson from this picture? In the absence of Krishna, everything is inauspicious. Right. So that's Kali Yuga is here, but Krishna is present. We have him right here. So therefore it's auspicious if you're here in the temple. And also if you're chanting the holy name, Krishna is there with you. So if you chant Hare Krishna, then you will have Krishna if you read Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Okay, part 2 of chapter 14, Krishna's family. Now Arjuna comes back, and he was crying, and he was unhappy. And so Yudhishthira asked about the family, Krishna's family. These are Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Krishna's children. So I read verse 28, 29. So many names I can recall with Shri Balaram, protector of all. Are they happy and living long? What is the news? Is anything wrong? So then he asked about Krishna's welfare here in this section. How is Krishna? I'll read verse 38. The great Sudharma assembly house was brought from heaven for earthly use by the members of the sacred Yadu dynasty, whose feet trampled over its floors freely. So Sudharma house was King Indra's assembly house, and they brought it down to Dwaraka for Krishna. And he was asking, so Arjuna's welfare. Then he asked Arjuna, what's your problem? It seems like you're very unhappy. Was somebody neglecting you, or was it that you lost your best friend, Krishna? Is that the reason you are so unhappy? So, yeah, that's the lesson we learned. Chapter 15, Arjuna remembers Krishna, part 1. So I will read verse 5. O King, the Supreme Lord has now left me all alone. He treated me as his close friend, but now to grief I'm prone. As his servant I was granted power very vast. The demigods were astonished, but now all that is past. So he's remembering, and he did tell Yudhishthira, yes, Krishna has left, and that's why I am so unhappy. So here he's remembering Krishna's protection, how he protected Draupadi, how in the forest, when Durvasa visited, Krishna protected them, how he protected so many ways. He protected the Pandavas. I will read verse 17. Lord Krishna served me as Parthasarthi. Although in proper etiquette, he did that for me. And by his mercy I was saved from the foe when to get water for my horses I did go. And so Krishna was protecting. He by his grace, he won Draupadi. So many, he was remembering how Krishna protected him when Krishna was there. Arjuna's powers lost, and now Krishna has left. Arjuna was defeated by some cowherd boys when he was taking Krishna's wives to Dwaraka. And so this is how he's experiencing that Krishna has left the planet. So chapter 15, part 2, Arjuna remembers Gita. So what did he do now that he lost his friend Krishna? One thing he did, he was remembering Krishna's instructions in Bhagavad Gita. And then he could be with Krishna. So I will read that. Verse 27, 28. To Govinda's instruction I am now attracted. For heartfelt relief is thus contacted. By thought of Krishna, deep and profound, Arjuna, freed from ignorance, deep peace found. Lord Krishna's lotus feet he remembered constantly. His devotion grew, and thus his mind was set free. So now Krishna's gone. He remembered Krishna's instructions in Bhagavad Gita. So here the lesson is, when you're feeling Krishna's separation, remember his instructions in Bhagavad Gita. Remember Krishna book, and you will be with Krishna again. If you're feeling suffering in this world, if you're feeling separation from Krishna, just remember his instructions. So what did Yudhisthira do? As soon as he heard Krishna left, and Yudhisthira left the kingdom. He put Parikshit in charge. And here's Kali. Kali entered as soon as Krishna left this world. Kali Yuga began, which we are suffering from now. Yudhisthira left home, and then the Pandavas and Draupadi also left home. That's the second section here. So I'll read verses 47 and 48. By pure consciousness and constant devotion, they achieve Goloka and its nectar ocean. Krishna's place is attained by the pure who desire only him and nothing more. So they went back to Godhead in their same bodies. All of the Pandavas and Draupadi and Subhadra, they all went back to Godhead without changing their body. All of them. So that is the version of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. So that is what we accept. What was the lesson? Did we learn a lesson? I think we did. Yes. Yes. How do we think of Krishna when we're feeling separation? Read Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam and Krishna book. Yes. Yes. When we're suffering the difficulties of this world, remember Krishna's instructions in Bhagavad Gita. Good. Chapter 16, Parikshit meets Kali. And what is Kali doing? First thing, he's beating the cow. So we can see Kali's influence now, so many slaughterhouses. So he was hurting the legs of a cow and the bull. And so he caught hold of this Kali to deal punishment with him. Deathless Krishna Katha. So Krishna Katha here is coming from the lotus feet of Krishna. Devotees are drinking, catching the nectar falling. I'll read verses 6 to 8. Because the sages have called Yamaraj to come to hear Bhagavatam. So nobody will die. Whoever is hearing Bhagavatam, you will not die while you're here. So don't stop hearing Bhagavatam. Then you won't die. So deathless Krishna nectar. I'll read verse 6 and 8. Devotees lick up honey from his lotus feet. From mundane stories they turn and retreat, desiring life eternal and liberty. Some escape death's slaughter and are set free. Yamaraj is here, and if he remains, no one present shall suffer death's pains. Those who must bow to Yamaraj's law should hear all these pastimes we have in store. So, lesson, to be saved from death, hear Krishna Katha. Hear about Krishna. If you want to be saved from death, get the nectar of immortality. This is the nectar of immortality, Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. So Parikshit tours his kingdom. That's the last section in this part. He took up his bows and arrows and he went to see what was happening in his kingdom to make sure there is law and order and justice. So what lesson do we learn here in this picture? Hear Bhagavatam. Why? To be free from death. Protected from death. Okay, so part 2 of chapter 16. Dharma questions Bhumi. Dharma is the bull of religion, and Bhumi is the earth in the form of a cow. And they're meeting, and Dharma is saying, why are you so unhappy? And are you lamenting for me? Here's separation from Krishna. And this is, her answer is that Lord Lord Krishna has now closed his pastimes here on earth. In his absence, Kali has spread everywhere. So I'm sorry to see this. Who can tolerate pangs of separation from Krishna? So she is explaining why she is so unhappy. And Krishna has gone and Kali has come. So chapter 17, part 1, we have Parikshit challenges Kali. He's ready to kill Kali, who is beating the cows. So then he consoles the bull and the cow. He said, "Don't worry, I will protect you." I will read verse 9. O Surabhi's son, lament no more. No more fear need you endure. I am the king, and here and now I'll protect you and also the cow. So then the last section, Dharma speaks philosophy. He said, first of all, Parikshit asked, who has hurt you? And Dharma says, well, there are so many opinions as to why we suffer. Some say it's our karma. Some say it's this. Some say it's time. Some say it's the stars. And Parikshit said, oh, you know the truth of religion because you don't identify the sinner. So the lesson is one who identifies the sinner suffers the same as does the sinner. So that's why you're advised not to criticize anyone. If you criticize someone, you will get the same reaction as that person. If it's true, if it's not true. If it's false, if it's true, you will get the same reaction. If your criticism is true. If your criticism is false, you'll get double the reaction of what that person would get. So don't do it. Don't criticize. So this is the lesson. One who identifies the sinner will suffer as does the sinner. So Parikshit is questioning Dharma in the form of a bull, and he is giving his answer. And he's consoling the bull and cow, no, don't fear any longer. I am here to protect you. So what was the lesson here in this picture? Don't identify the sinner. Right. Okay, part 2 of chapter 17. Parikshit pacifies Dharma, the bull. He said, your 4 legs in the age of Satya Yuga, you had 4 legs. 4 legs of religion. Austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. These are the 4 legs of religion. This is the lesson you should know. What are the 4 legs of religion? Cleanliness, mercy, austerity, and truthfulness. These are the 4 legs of religion. So here Parikshit controls Kali. Kali says, he surrenders. He takes off his imitation dress of a king because Parikshit is ready to kill him. And he says, please, okay, I surrender to you. So Parikshit said, okay, but you have to get out of my kingdom. You have to go. And Parikshit reestablishes religion. He gives Kali 4 places to live where there is intoxication, illicit sex, and gambling, and meat eating. Where these 4 things are, then Kali stays. But in Parikshit's kingdom, these things were not existing. So Kali asked for one more place, and he said, wherever people hoard gold or hoard money, you can stay there as well. So I'll read verses 43 and 44. Thus Parikshit rules the kingdom with all success, coming in Yudhishthir's family of kings with great prowess. So what is the lesson we learned here in this picture? 4 legs of religion. Cleanliness, very good. 4 legs of religion. Cleanliness, mercy, austerity, and truthfulness. Good. So chapter 18, Parikshit's qualities. He's doing Harinam Sankirtan. Prabhupada said in a purport he established Harinam in his kingdom. And I'll read verses 6 and 7. He actually saw a good quality of Kali. The very day and moment that Krishna departed, that is just when Kali's advent started. Maharaj Parikshit was a realist, knowing in Kali Yuga good does exist. Pious thoughts are rewarded straight away. Sin must be gross before bad karma holds sway. So what this means, and this is a lesson here, is that if you think something good, you will get the reaction for actually doing that good thing, that good thought. If you think something bad, you will not get the reaction for it. That's special for Kali Yuga. In other yugas, if you thought something bad, or you thought of illicit sex, you would get the reaction for doing it. But in this age, even if you think something bad, you don't get the reaction for doing it. And if you think something good, you will get the good karma. So, huh?
Thinking good and doing good, even thinking itself is...
Yes, if you think good, you will get the result of doing good, of actually doing good.
But bad, if you think it won't work, but you have to do to get...
Yes. Bad, if you get, you have to do it in order to get the reaction. So this is a lesson here, first lesson in this picture, that good thoughts bring immediate results and bad thoughts must be physically performed in order to get the results. So second part, Nectarian Krishna Katha. Again, the sages are drinking the nectar of Krishna's lotus feet. I'll read verse 12-13. A sacrificial performance we have begun, but we're unsure what result will come. We're covered in soot from starting the fire. Now Govinda Leela's what we require. A moment spent in devotees' association cannot be compared to heavenly elevation, nor to liberation, nor to material boons, which are meant for those who will die soon. So now the next one, verse 13, is another lesson we're going to learn. A moment spent in devotees' association cannot be compared to heavenly elevation, nor to liberation, nor to material boons, which are meant for those who will die soon. So the lesson, a moment's association with a pure devotee, more valuable than heaven or liberation. So we could see that with Srila Prabhupada. So many stories are there. One air hostess got Prabhupada's prasadam on the plane. Prabhupada was eating some puffed rice. She got prasadam. And after, she became a devotee just from eating that prasadam from Srila Prabhupada. Later on, they found devotees were going on book distribution. And they were going in the Amazon jungle in the village. And they went to her house to distribute books, opened the door, and there were pictures of Krishna. She said, yeah, I got your Guru's prasad. And she became a devotee. So the last section, Krishna's glories. So no one can talk about Krishna adequately, but Sutta is going to try and describe Krishna's glories. Here we see Ganga is coming, Ganga Devi down to Lord Shiva, but Krishna's glories are even more powerful. Okay, what was the lesson here? Okay, if you think of a good thing, you get the reaction. And if you think you don't, get a bad reaction, you have to actually perform it. Okay, what was the second lesson? Moment association with a pure devotee is more valuable than anything, heaven or liberation. Good. Okay, so now Kali is entering. Parikshit insults Samika Rishi with a snake. He didn't receive him properly, so he got angry. He was thirsty and hungry. Parikshit cursed, and the sun found out, and he cursed Parikshit to die within 7 days, being bitten by a snake bird. So then his father found out, and he was lamenting, Shmika's lamentation. He said, "Why have you cursed the king? He was such a good king. Now the kingdom will be ruined." He did not at all appreciate his son's act of cursing the king. And then he prayed to the Lord, "Please forgive my son." He did not know. He's just a boy. So chapter 19, Parikshit renounces. As soon as he heard about the curse to die, he renounced the kingdom, and he sat on the bank of the Ganga. He said, "I just want to hear Krishna Katha." And all the sages from the whole universe came down to be with Parikshit, to help him and to see how he leaves his body. There's Narada Muni, all the sages are coming to be with Parikshit at the time of his death. I'll read verse 16. "If I again must take birth, this is what I pray." So this is Parikshit. "Being attached to Krishna, that with his devotees I'll stay. With all beings I'll have friendly relations. Thus, O Brahmanas, please accept my prostrations." So now the last part of this chapter, Parikshit questions the sages. The king said, "Okay, now I ask you, what is my duty? Now I'm about to die. What should I do?" So then Shukadev, they have different opinions. They can't really decide. Then Shukadev comes, and everybody respects him. All the great sages were expert in the art of physiognomy, and they honored him by rising from their seats. And so he's accepted as the speaker of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam to Maharaj Parikshit. Parikshit questions Sukadev here. "Please show me the way of perfection for all persons, especially for one who is about to die. What should a man hear about, chant, remember, and worship, and what should he not do?" And the remaining 11 cantos of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam will be an answer to these questions. So we will stop here. If you have any question, you can ask. Yes? He's asking Shukadev. He's questioning Shukadev. Now that Shukadev has appeared, he's questioning Shukadev. But Sutta is speaking. He's telling what's happening. Sutta is saying that now Shukadev has appeared, and Maharaj Parikshit is questioning him. So yeah, Sutta is speaking, actually, but the question was put to Shukadev. So and then from Canto 2 it will start with Shukadev speaking Bhagavatam. Yes?
So when they all came down to, as he was sort of surrendering in that moment, why did they all come down to him? Was it their mercy or love for him, or was it because his sincerity? Or?
Why did the sages come down? Because he was a great devotee. They wanted to be with him. They wanted his association. Like a moment's association. Well, he's a pure devotee, Maharaj Parikshit. So all the sages wanted his association because they knew, oh, now something great is going to happen. He's got 7 days. Let's see what happens now. They kind of knew something wonderful is going to happen. They expected by having his association. They were expecting something. And something wonderful happened. Bhagavatam was spoken. Bhagavatam was spoken by Shukadev. So there were these sages, they kind of could tell the future. So they knew this is a very significant event that's happening right now. Such a great devotee of Krishna is going to leave his body. So something wonderful must be going to happen now. When they saw he just wanted to hear Krishna Katha, then that was it. Okay, let's go in here also. This is what he wants to hear. So it's going to be wonderful. Let us all go in here and see also how he leaves his body. Let us be with him. So that's like when somebody in our community is about to leave their body, then all the devotees go there to be with the person who's about to leave their body, and they chant and they read from the books, and they're having continuous kirtan to make an auspicious departure for the devotee. So that happens even now. We go and to be with that person when they're about to leave their body. And so the sages are devotees, Parikshit's a devotee, they're all going to be there. They're all going to help him to leave his body in the right consciousness. Yes?
In Kali Yuga, you mentioned that if we think of bad, the reactions will not be taken.
That's right.
But the cycle of the Pavan Vejam Purnam Avtaratma. So the activity of sinful activity starts from the
Seed.
side and the proclivity and
Right.
goes right. So is it the same thing for everyone, or it's just meant for the devotees? Because
No, it's for everyone. It's for everyone. This is so the question is, if you think something bad, you won't get the reaction. You think something good, you will. Is that only for devotees, or is it for everyone? It's for everyone in this age of Kali. It's a special concession for everyone who is living in Kali Yuga. It's for everyone. Yes. It's wonderful. Otherwise, there's no hope.
But for devotees, yes, because from the time that they have a desire and from the activities there is Krishna, because they have taken the shelter of Krishna.
Right.
Krishna will protect them because they
Well, for the devotees, because it's different from non-devotees. Devotees, the non-devotees, they're suffering their karma as it comes. It's fructifying and they're suffering. But devotees, they're frying the seeds of karma. Just like if, Prabhupada gives the example, you take some chickpeas and you plant the chickpeas, it will grow into a plant. But if you take the chickpeas and fry them, they will not grow. So we're frying the seeds of our karma by doing devotional service, by chanting Hare Krishna. So those seeds are fried, so they will not fructify. They will not come. But those who don't chant, who don't take prasadam, their seeds will fructify. Their seeds will grow and they will get the karma. Yes? I can't hear you so well. What if someone... The question is, will the negative thinking get manifested eventually? As long as it's on the thinking platform, it'll be okay. But if it comes down to the verbal and physical, then you will get a reaction. So if you continuously are negative, then definitely it can manifest. Once it manifests in the verbal or the physical, then you will get the reaction. It's quite possible because everything comes from subtle to gross. But devotees are trying to control their minds. So therefore, they know, they understand that it should not manifest. They catch it at the mental level before it manifests.
Progression, Krishna tells that what are
Right.
the places where the lust resides first? First you have to control the senses so that it won't go further.
Right.
You have to regulate the senses first.
Yes. We have to regulate the senses. So we do devotional service, we chant Hare Krishna, we use the senses. We take the senses and connect our senses with Krishna in service. So therefore the senses are controlled. The senses want to eat. So okay, prasad, get purified. Want to sing? Okay, chant Hare Krishna. Want to dance? Okay, dance for Krishna. Dance on Harinam. So your senses can be satisfied, can be connected.
To add to that, Krishna says to curb the sin in the beginning itself.
Yes, we should curb the sin with Krishna consciousness in the beginning. Yes, in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. Yeah, it becomes sweeter when Shukadev speaks. So they wanted to hear Shukadev speak Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. They knew, they can tell the future, these sages. Uh-huh.
So this similarly like the question of this doing bad and talking about good. Supposing somebody thinks that tomorrow morning let me come for Mangalarti. And the desire is there that tomorrow morning I'll come for Mangalarti, I'll come and attend the morning program, listen to Bhagavatam. But they have not done it. So in that case, still do they...
What happens if you think about coming to Mangalarti and you don't make it? Yeah, no, you'll get the benefit of having a good thought. So it's good to think about coming to Mangalarti. And now you have no excuse. You just turn on your computer. You can go to Mangalarti any time of the day, you know. Because somewhere in the world, there's Mangalarti on the computer. Mayapur, so many temples, you can see Mangalarti. So even if you miss it here, you can catch it in Perth. I don't know if Perth is on Mayapur TV. Yes? Why did Krishna leave the planet? That's a very good question. Because the time was up. There's a certain amount of time that he spends here. It's just like, why does the sun set? Because it goes to the other side. So Krishna's appearance and disappearance is like the sun rising and setting. He's visible in this universe for a certain amount of time, then he goes to the next universe. There's so many universes, and his pastimes right now are being shown in one of the universes, another universe. So it's like now the sun has set here, Krishna has set. It's not like he's not there, he's there somewhere. The sun, just like now the sun, is setting right now. But it doesn't mean the sun is not there. It's somewhere else. Yeah, in a different form, not in his personal pastimes. He has his all-pervading form that's different from his personal form in the spiritual world. Yeah, all-pervading, he's everywhere, but why can't we see him? He's in this table, he's in every atom, he's in our heart. That's another form. That's even a... So he's present, all-pervading. This is his energy. You're sitting on Krishna. Why can't you see him? Because it's not his personal form. Why did it become inauspicious? Because when Krishna is here, everything runs in perfect order. And not only that, but there were disturbances even when he was here, but he corrected them. He killed he removed the burden of the earth of all the demoniac kings. And he fulfilled the Yuga Dharma of that age. And so, yeah, but when he left, then everyone was feeling that separation also from him. Just being without him, once you've tasted his association, being without him is very painful. Very painful to be without him. It's like, yeah. So the world without Krishna is very inauspicious. And Kali came. That was the most inauspicious thing. As soon as Krishna left, then Kali came. Yes. Right. Right. Right.
And that then becomes the second nature of the person that you're always sort of finding fault. So what is the way around to make sure that you're not falling back to this attitude and...
Okay. What happens if are you an accountant, editor, auditor? Yeah, that's a good way to use your fault-finding mentality. You can be an auditor or an editor. Yes. So as long as, see, every job has a fault in it. Gita says that. Even in the Brahmana's work, there is some fault. In the Kshatriya's work, they have to kill, there's some fault. In the Vaishyas, they have to lie in their business. So in every job, every work that you have, there is some fault. So to purify the faults of your work, then you have to give some portion of the fruit to Krishna. And that purifies your earnings. It purifies it. So so that's what devotees do. They take a portion and they use it for the spreading of Krishna consciousness. And that will purify all the faults of your work. But still you have to do your duty. But offer some of the fruits to Krishna, and that will help. That will help you. Yeah, the mentality is difficult. Then you have to chant Hare Krishna. But you're doing your job. That's your job. So, but that's a good way to use your fault-finding mentality. Use it for a good purpose. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we cannot find faults with somebody when they're doing something wrong, but it is also become a responsibility of a Vaishnava to let the person know or give him a knowledge that what he is doing wrong.
Okay, the Vaishnava needs to tell the person if he's doing something wrong.
Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
how do we do? Like we just ignore the person doing the mistakes or sins, or just of course, if it's capacity that.
Yeah, if it's in your capacity, you can tell the person. If it's not, then you can go to the authority who can deal with the person.
So it is okay to think that, okay, the person is doing wrong, that is going to mislead the other people. So that way, when you show that it will be corrected that way.
No, that way you can correct, yeah.
So if at the time the sin of
Right.
being somebody a sinner is not going to be affecting the person.
Yes, yes. That's right. Yeah, if you see a fault, Lord Chaitanya showed the example when Nityananda was attacked by Mataji, and he was ready to kill, even though his incarnation is not killing the demons. So to defend Nityananda, he was ready to punish Mataji. But then they surrendered. Nityananda actually saved them. Nityananda said, no, please forgive them. And so Lord Chaitanya forgave them. And so for yourself you don't protest, but for others you can interfere. Okay, any other question? Yes? Right. They left, yeah. Same bodies, they went back to Godhead, yeah. Right, right. So your question is, did they go to the spiritual world? Yes, but at the same time they are present in the pastimes. They are simultaneously in the spiritual world and present in the other universe where the pastimes are going on. So they're simultaneously in two places. In like liberated souls. They're liberated souls. Okay, wait. You had a question?
In regards to her question, that when Krishna left, everything was inauspicious at that time.
Right.
If Krishna left and everything would have been auspicious, then we would not have desired to go back to Godhead. That's
Yeah.
my if everything is inauspicious in Krishna's
Okay.
absence, then we develop the desire to go back to Godhead.
So, okay, you're commenting that because everything is so inauspicious, then we want to go back to Godhead. If it was really nice here, then we would not like... So that's the problem with the heavenly planets. If you go to the heavenly planets, you say, oh, why should I bother? Why not just stay here and enjoy? That's why we're miserable here. It helps to inspire us to take up spiritual life. Okay, yes? Okay, what was that? Yeah. Well, their body changed from material to spiritual. Right, you cannot. Pandavas. Yeah, while they're in the universe, then they don't remember. They don't remember that they were with, like Arjuna was with Krishna 2 billion years ago. He forgot, and because he did change his body. Okay. Yes? Of Godhead. Mm-hmm. Because there's so many expansions of Krishna. There's Vishnu, Narayan, Ram, Nishinga, Vamana. So, but he's the supreme personality of all these Godheads. There's so many Godheads. There's so many expansions of Krishna. But he's the original. He's the original of all the incarnations, is Krishna. Yeah. All right. Any other? Did you have another question? Right. Right. No, no, you can correct, yeah.
And you can say, I'm sorry, but I'm thinking fault finding when
Right.
it becomes injurious for someone.
Right, exactly.
And,
Right, right.
then we will carry the burden of it. Because
When fault finding is injurious, then it's not good to do. But I mean, fault finding, just the word itself, is not good. So another constructive criticism you can say is to help a person, to help them not to commit offenses. So that's good. If we have to train people how to do devotional service. So in that training, you might have to make corrections. So that's okay. Okay, any other questions? Jai Ho, glories to Srila Prabhupada, Hare Krishna. Okay, not yet, but after some time. Oh, if anybody wants a Bhagavad Gita, I have one book left here, Bhagavad Gita at a glance, picture for every verse of Bhagavad Gita. You would like? Okay. Thank you. Only one book left. Huh? Oh, you would tell her. Yeah, it's $20.